Hi friends, welcome to Life with Loverly. I'm your host, Brittany Shogren. I'm excited to share my heart beyond the 15 seconds that we get on Instagram. Grab an iced coffee and let's do life together. Hi friends, happy Tuesday. Hope y'all are having a lovely day. Nichelle and I are in the podcast room right now. I just got back from a little family vacation on 30A and we thought it would be a great opportunity to share a little bit about the area. My family's been vacationing there for several years, and we own a house there that we rent out. So I'm very familiar with the area and everything that's kind of around there. And I always get lots of questions about Rosemary Beach and Alys Beach and Seacrest Beach. So while 30A is like a longer strip of land and there's a lot more like beach towns on 30A, I'm really only like most knowledgeable about the Rosemary Beach, Seacrest, and Alys Beach areas. So that's kind of what I'm going to cover on this podcast today. I do have several blog posts and saved highlights with all my favorite restaurants, shopping, lots of different things. So we've got tons of information on Loverly Gray, but wanted to put it all in a podcast as well because I know some people just love listening to it on a podcast and
consume it a different way.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we thought it would be really fun. Michelle's been down there with us several times too because usually what we'll do is I love shooting content down there because it's just so beautiful. There's beautiful backgrounds, especially like as I'm prepping content for you guys and coming up with outfit ideas and styling options so that you can go on vacation with some of these pieces. I think it's a great way for y'all to actually visualize it if it's shot in the environment that you're going to go and wear it in.
Mm-hmm.
So Nichelle comes with us for the first part of the trip, and we usually like work really hard for like a day or two and bust out a lot of content. Some of it is sponsored content that we are like partnering with brands to create. Others is just stuff that we are like, let's make a reel for this, or let's
fun stuff to last throughout the summer for sure.
Exactly. So on this trip, Nichelle came down for a few days, and then we kind of I took some time off and spent time with my family, and we had like a little family vacation down there. It's just heaven on earth. I feel like even you guys like are starting to love it so much too.
I've like talked Robert into that. You're gonna love it too, I promise. And this is why we went. What was it, Thanksgiving? And that was the first time that I'd come with you, and it was not as busy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't as busy because we had gone during like the summer months before that, and that was the first time I'd ever been on actual 30A because the furthest we had gone, I would say on the Gulf, is Panama City, and it's like Sunset. It's a little bitty town near Laguna Beach, but I'd never been on that side, and it was just it's such a quaint, small town feel, and it feels like it's so secluded from other parts of Florida and the Gulf. It literally feels like it's in its own little nook and cranny.
It is, and I think they created it like that on purpose. I think Rosemary was established in the 90s. Like it hasn't been around for that long. And then Alys is even like still being developed as well. And it's like you pull onto 30A and it feels like you're like pulling through a European country. Like it feels completely different than like neighboring like Panama City or even in Destin. It's just a completely different vibe. Everything in like there's a downtown area in Rosemary that is full of restaurants and shops and coffee shops and ice cream parlors and just like on the bottom is all shops and then like residences, or there's a really nice hotel in downtown Rosemary called the Pearl. That's all just right there. So you like what I love about it is you can drive there, or if you're not from like a driving distance, you can fly, and the airport's about 30 minutes from this area. But once you get there, you literally can walk everywhere that you want to go for the entire time you're there.
It's so incredible.
Yes.
The bikes,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a huge thing down there is bike riding. So
People rent bikes.
Yes, and it's just so cute. But you literally can walk anywhere you need to go while you're down there. There's a little grocery convenience store, like she was saying. There's shops. There's anything that you would do in a normal beach town is right there within that small town. Within those three, I guess you would call them towns, like beach towns,
little,
Seacrest
areas.
Yeah, Rosemary and Alys.
Kind of more like even neighborhoods.
Yes.
And it's all like they each have like a very unique style about them. Like Rosemary's house architecture is one way, and then Seacrest is a different way, and then Alys is a completely different like way. So but they're all right there, and everybody can utilize like everything about the three different communities that are there. I think so. We started going down. The very first time I ever went to the area was when I was in college. I was on spring break, my like sophomore, junior year, and we rented a house in the Seacrest Beach neighborhood, which is where our house is now. And it was so cool to just like, be right there at the beach, but we were able to like eat dinners in Rosemary, and it wasn't even like as built up as it is now back in like 2009 or 8. And so then a few years later, after I had graduated college, my mom and I went back down to Rosemary for like just a girls' weekend. And we stayed right in Rosemary. We ate the restaurants, and we were kind of like, we should come here for Thanksgiving with our families. Like, my brother and his wife were getting married in October, so it would be like the first Thanksgiving that my brother and I were both married. We didn't have any kids yet, so it was the 6 of us. And we rented a house in Seacrest and stayed there for a week and just did our whole Thanksgiving. Like, we did a Thanksgiving dinner there. It was so much fun. And so then we started making it a tradition to like rent there in like the Thanksgiving time frame. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, we had an opportunity to buy a house in Seacrest. It actually like kind of fell into our lap. Chris's brother is in short-term rentals. He like teaches people how to have short-term rentals. He actually has so much like brilliant information. I'll put his like website in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about like short-term rentals and like how to have an Airbnb and just like investing in that type of thing. He is very, very knowledgeable. So he was getting into this, and he was like buying properties and turning them into rentals. And he was telling Chris and I, you guys should really consider this. You guys love going to this area. What if you just bought something, rented it out when you weren't there? And so we kind of were like, I don't know, could we do that? I don't know. And this house ended up being like a perfect fit for us. It came fully furnished, which is one thing about buying down there is like everything is like pretty much sold fully furnished unless it's a new construction.
Right.
Which is awesome because it gave us like a starting point.
Yes.
And while I do kind of wish we could like maybe do a little bit of a refresh, I think for the rental, it's like a perfect, like everything is completely fine. And we've been shifting some things and like adding new decor and new pieces every now and then, but that's kind of like how we started getting down there. And then that we bought the house in 2019, so we've had it for 3 years, almost 3 years. This summer will be, and it's been just like a great like rental property. But then we've been able to go down there a few times a year, and it's just grown so much. Like the area, it's funny because every now and then somebody will be like, stop telling people to go to 30A. It's like a little secret that now everybody knows about, which is so true. I feel like everybody and their mom is like starting to go.
This year I noticed so many people down there. They were like, oh, we get what the hype's about.
Yeah. It's like, yes, I know. But every time we talk about like, where should we go on vacation, I always just want to go back there because I love all the restaurants. I love the ease. I love that you can park your car and not drive it. You walk everywhere. There's things to do for kids, for families. Where our house is in the Seacrest Beach area, which is like right in between Alys and Rosemary, and it's right on the other side of 30A. So to walk to the beach, like from our front steps, takes about 5 minutes. You just like cross over 30A and walk, and there's like a designated like beach access spot for the Seacrest Beach neighborhood. And I will say the beach like situation has kind of gotten a little crowded. When we were there last summer, they had like a section of the beach blocked off, and that was like for the entire neighborhood, which is like hundreds of homes.
Is it public access, or you actually have to have
You have to have the band
Okay.
to like get over there. So there is public beach access like at the very end of Rosemary, and then like past Alys somewhere, I think. I don't there might be something in the middle, but I don't think that there is. So you do have to have like, so it is all private, but then like there's sections of like what is private for a neighborhood, and then like some people who just like own a house on the beach, like they don't want people right on their beach. So there's some privacy restrictions. And I feel like the Seacrest area is getting like smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
We were just there, and when we were there the first week in May, honestly, was like the best time to go because it was not as busy. It was still amazing weather, but people, it's a really busy time of year for some people. School coming to an end. We like hardly saw any like school-aged kids there. It was just like tiny babies who weren't in school yet, or like girls' weekends or bachelorette parties was like the majority of the people that we saw while we were there. And so it was like perfect. So the beach wasn't overly crowded. There are like rental, like chair rental and umbrella rentals like right there next to the Seacrest section, and going both ways. So like, but you would have to like pay to rent that. We ended up doing it 2 of the days, and at the time, I'm not sure if the rates like change for different times of the season, but it was $125 for like a front row, like right on the beach, right on the water, for all day, for 3 chairs and an umbrella. And it was like great. Like it just, you also had space to move around. You didn't feel like you were getting in anybody's way by like, oh, is your towel touching mine? Oh, sorry, my kids are like getting in your way. Like, and they're so young, they don't really fully understand. Like, excuse me, like, don't step on the towels.
Right. That's not our space.
Yeah. It was so funny because obviously kids, like, they don't know anything until they're taught. Yeah. And so I like laid a towel out, and all of a sudden Colin just comes like tramping across the towel, like the freshly laid out. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? But like no one's ever said,
let's try to get the sand on the towel.
Yeah. that. And so I was like, okay, mental note, like we have to like teach this, and it's, even though she's been to the beach before, but she's still 3.
Right, exactly.
So that kind of thing was just funny to me.
These spaces that are designated for the Seacrest, Alys Beach, Rosemary neighborhoods is, when you say blocked off, it's literally like there's tape, like it's this is your square,
like there are like
and this
cones,
is where you go,
and it says like do not cross, like not public, private, like only like people renting these umbrellas or the guests staying at this like property can stay here.
Yeah. So you made a point earlier when we were talking about this that it was very beneficial for you guys, because when the beaches are crowded or there's a lot of people on the beach, your little ones want to go back and forth to the water.
Yes.
And when you're dealing with that many people, you're trying to keep an eye on them, and it's tough. But you renting out that space, you're able to like keep your eye on them and actually sit down and relax.
Yes.
Have the chairs, have the umbrella. It just made it a lot easier with the girls.
So much easier. I feel like we are planning to go back in July for a family vacation, and we've already been like, we are going to rent them while we're there. Yeah. It's so stressful when you don't have a place to go. And even for the people who are like, oh, that's not going to be me. I get up at, 6 a.m. and
Right.
go take my stuff to the beach. Like, that's everybody is doing that. By
Yes.
the time 7 a.m., like, the whole designated section is completely full.
Remember we were shooting last May,
Yeah.
and we went down there to shoot. I think we got down there right at 7. It was like 6:45,
Yes.
7. Yes, because we were working. But we went down there to shoot, and we were like, wow, towels laid out everywhere already.
It was nuts. So, yeah, I would just take that into consideration, because if you're somebody who likes to be at the beach like the entire day, it gets really crowded. So I would maybe just consider an area that has like a larger private beach option. The one great thing about Seacrest is there is a community pool within the neighborhood that is huge.
It is.
And it has, there's like, I would say within it, there's like 4 different pools. They're all connected, but there's like different levels of the pool.
It's
with
like
a
small style resort almost.
Yes,
yeah,
very much so, with tons of chairs. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen it like completely full. So that's a great alternative if you like being at the pool on vacation. And a lot of times we'll do like half a day at the beach and then come up and do like half a day at the pool, or because our kids are still like napping, so we still have that like 3-hour block in the middle of the day that it's kind of like, okay, like somebody's hanging out up here and kids are napping. Like, okay, I kept like laying out on the top, like porch that we have up on the top.
Yeah.
I would just, during nap, I would just go up there and like read and lay out. And I was like, this is the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, you can see the ocean from the house. So I think that's like the main thing to consider, is just like, if you like the beach, make sure you go to an area that has like really good beach access, because that's the one kind of negative about our neighborhood now, is like, and you have to have like bans, like they're very strict. You can't take like there's certain things you like can't take down there. So just before you go, make sure you like check all of the rules and regulations and that type of thing.
We found a cute little place that had some amazing coffee the last time we were there.
Yes. So we actually found 2 new coffee places this time.
Yeah.
Charlie's Cafe, which we had lunch at, and we did like sandwiches. We had this sandwich called the Rosemary Club or something like that.
Rosemary Club.
So delicious.
It was so good. I thought about it the other day.
And then they have coffee. Like, there is something to me about like iced coffee at the beach.
Oh yes,
it
100%.
Just hits different. Like, same thing with like a sandwich and potato chips. Like,
it's our favorite thing, guys. A sandwich, like a homemade sandwich and potato chips at the beach.
So good. So we usually, and one thing I like about going here is like, we never get Starbucks while we're down there, because it's like there's so many other great coffee spots that it's like you don't even need to go to your chain restaurants. Yes, so we had Charlie's. I had the lavender oat milk latte.
I had the honey oat milk latte.
So good. I got it a few more times. Like, when my mom and I were shopping around one day, I was like, let's just stop in here for a coffee. And then on the other side of the street, there's a new spot called Third Cup Coffee, which I think is just like such a cute name.
It is.
It's like your third cup of the day. I loved it.
You know me so well.
Yes, exactly. And it's really cute inside. It's kind of smaller inside, and then they've got some outdoor seating. But they also have like a window that you can like order your coffee like at the side, and they like pass it to you out the window.
So cute.
But they like hand make their like syrups is all, like they make their syrup. Yeah, and they put them in these like really cool jars and pump them out that way. And maybe this, for somebody who's like a huge coffee connoisseur, maybe I should know this, but when I was watching them make the coffee, they had the like shot of espresso, and they put the flavor pump in the shot glass with the espresso and then dumped it,
just to give it another swirl,
instead of putting it like in the bottom of the cup and then dumping espresso and milk on it. And so I was kind of like, is that common, or is that just like another way to get the flavor mixed with the coffee better?
Yeah. Probably. Smart.
Yeah.
It would dissolve a little bit more in that fresh espresso before it actually went in and sat at the bottom.
Exactly. So I appreciated that they did that, but there's so many great little coffee spots and breakfast spots. We always go to Raw and Juicy, which is in Alys Beach. It's just like a quick walk from our house, and there's a great little play area for the kids. They've got tons of really good outdoor seating. They do, it's mostly, I would say, like breakfast. They do lunch, and then it's open in the afternoon, I think, until about 5 for like an afternoon coffee or snack. But they have really good overnight oats, acai bowls, smoothies, coffee. I always get this like egg biscuit that they have there. That's really good. Yeah. So Raw and Juicy is always a really good place to go to. And then another coffee shop that I feel like is probably the like oldest coffee shop around there is called Amaveda, and that's more in Rosemary. So they're all kind of like separated out. It's all like very close, but it's like if you're shopping on this side of the street, you can get coffee from Third Cup. If you're shopping on this side of the street, you can get coffee from Amaveda or whatever. You have a little bit of options, and then the food down there is
guys,
so good.
That's probably the one thing that we talk about.
Yes.
Like, I know whenever I come with you, we're like, where are we going tonight?
Yes. Like, and we like crave the food for weeks afterwards.
Yeah.
And I love, like, I would say I'm like a foodie in the sense of like, I love going out to eat. I love like trying new things, trying like upcoming restaurants. And so to be able to go to a place that has several like really, really good options, you kind of just know like, hey, you're on vacation, you're taking time off, you're going to eat really good.
Yeah.
You're going to have like a lot of great places to shop. Like to me, I'm like, what more do you want on vacation? But the food, I think we could do like an entire separate episode on just all the restaurants. And
probably. I think we kind of narrowed it down though. We were going to talk about just the favorites because there are so many.
Yes.
But there definitely are a few that I know you guys, whenever you guys are there, you hit every single time.
Regularly.
Yeah. And then I know we have a favorite one too. So.
Well,
not partial.
Exactly. So I will say, I know I mentioned my story highlight that has a lot of like saved information about 30A. There really is like 3 years worth of like information whenever we're down there. I try to like add to it. So if we like, definitely check it out if you're interested in going there. Maybe you already have a trip planned. There's a lot more about like specific restaurants that we might not get to that are still like ones I would definitely recommend. One thing I would say in the summertime is it is very busy and not a lot of the restaurants take reservations. So you have to kind of plan ahead. There's one restaurant that we go to every time, George's. It's like such a classic Alys Beach restaurant. It's so good. It's family friendly. They have tons of outdoor seating. But if you're not in line at 4:30 when they open at 5, like you are going to wait for a long time.
And you're probably going to wait you're going to wait if you get in line at 4:30 because they don't open until 5. I feel like we've waited probably an hour.
Yeah.
A good hour. And
so you like, if you don't have little kids, like that's okay to do because they have an outdoor bar, they've got cornhole, they've got like a lot of like area you can walk around and do stuff. But with kids, like waiting for a long time definitely gets a little bit like, okay, like come on, do we really want to eat here? Is it that good? And it really is. I mean, every time we're like, nope, we're holding out. It's always so worth it. But I would say you do need to plan to like come off the beach early and start your dinner process early. With that being said, I feel like by like 10 o'clock, like the place is like Rosemary's like quiet.
The sidewalks clear out.
Yes.
Completely clear out. Yeah.
It's funny. It's like high school kids like riding their bikes and like guys and girls trying to be like, hey, who are you? You know?
Yes.
On vacation.
Have you ever done takeout with George's?
So Chris did this week. my mom and I went to dinner one night, and so Chris, actually, he ended up getting takeout from Edwards instead because George's, they said that they do takeout, but not when the restaurant first opens because it's so busy. So normally they wait till like the flow has started and then they will do it. We haven't done it like when we went on our team retreat in February.
Yeah.
We did the George's takeout and ate that on the beach. We did this like awesome picnic setup. Fresco Picnic is the company that we used, and they were so amazing. We'll actually put a link to my TikTok where we made a video about like the process, and we ordered George's and ate that down at the beach that night, and we had a bonfire going, and it was just like such a great thing to do. I would definitely recommend for like a couple's trip or like a bachelorette party or something like that.
So cute, yes.
So that was the only time we've ever gotten George's to go.
I was curious because of us getting takeout with Fresco that if it was just because it was a service that they, I guess, had connection with,
right?
Or if they actually did takeout, because that could be an option for families that just didn't want to wait in line with little kids.
So in 2020, right after Florida allowed for short-term rentals to open back up, so during COVID, all short-term rentals had to stop. They opened back up like the end of May. All of the restaurants were offering takeout options for families who didn't want to eat in the restaurant, which was a great way for these restaurants to like adapt.
Sure.
And so now I feel like it's not as common. Like most people are going back into the restaurants.
They're just trying to get back to some normalcy at this point.
Exactly, exactly. So, we used to do takeout a lot, and we still do for like the Mexican restaurant that's like right there in Seacrest. It's called Loco. It is so good. We always either do takeout on the first night or eat there on the first night that we've like driven down to the beach. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Their tacos are great. Their queso is great. Their guacamole, everything. Yeah. So that's a restaurant I would definitely recommend. And
the pizza place in there is actually, it's Pizza by the Sea, is that right? It's actually really good. I actually got just a single pie on my way back to my room that one time. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's another great one with kids too. One thing about like the Seacrest area is it's so family friendly. Mm-hmm. There's this big like pavilion with like open greenery and like fire pits with all these like cute little like huts that have like Charlie's Donuts, or there's another pizza restaurant. There's like a place you can get a drink. There's an ice cream spot. There's all these like cute little things that you can just go to that area and eat dinner and get dessert and then sit out, and they do like music out on the lawn.
Live music, I feel like, is from 5 until everything shuts down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's always like somebody's playing live music, which is great. So I've like appreciated that area being so close with little kids. So
La Crema.
Yes.
Really enjoyed that. I know there was like a little like asterisk next to that one because we had a little bit of an experience one of the times that we went. But
yeah, it's interesting. The food at La Crema is so good, and I always try to go there. My mom and I went there for lunch one day while we were there this like last time, and the food is always so good. It's tapas and fondue. They do like dessert fondue, cheese fondue. The salads are really good. The crab cakes are amazing. But sometimes the service is a little bit like hit or miss. And it's interesting because like a lot of the restaurants are owned by the same like restaurant group.
I was going to ask that because isn't it like George's, La Crema, Edwards, and there's like another one.
There's like a few others.
They're like sister companies. They all work under the same umbrella. Yeah.
And so sometimes I'm like, okay, how are all of the other locations like such good service, and then La Crema sometimes is not, but it's like not enough for us to not go there. We just go there knowing, okay, like if they're having an off day,
longer,
but it's a great like they have a lot of outdoor seating. It's a great place to have like a drink with your lunch or dinner. Like it's just, the vibe is just very great there. So I love going back, but just a heads up, that's something that we've experienced a few times. And then Edwards is amazing. They sometimes have live music. They have this great courtyard that has all this outdoor seating. And it's just, it's lovely. Like, the food is so good.
Their service is, I'm top notch.
Yes.
Every time.
Agreed. Every time at Edwards, it's like so good. One restaurant that we have been obsessed with since they opened last summer is the Citizen.
Obsessed, I feel like, is the understatement of the year. But
I
yes.
mean, it is so good. The good thing about the Citizen is if you have a party of 8 or more, you can make a reservation. And so a lot of people with larger parties do make reservations. So I think it's 8. It's either 8 or 6. So check that on their website. They also, you can like put your name in and then like get on a wait list with them, but you do have to like physically go there.
Yeah.
So our house is very close to there. So a lot of times we would like be walking up from the beach. We'd go put our name in. They'd be like, okay, hour and a half. We'd go get ready and come back. And like, we wouldn't technically be like waiting outside for an hour and a half. It would be like, okay,
yes,
you know, so
I'll let you put the girls down, and I was like, I'm gonna run up there and get us a spot because we are going tonight.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good. The oysters are, if you like raw oysters,
yes.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I think it's the warm saltine crackers that they come with, and like all these like delicious sauces. It's next level.
It is. It really is. And I feel like if you have never tried but you're willing to, that is the place to try, because they do it right.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of places you can go and it can be done very wrong, but they do them perfectly.
Yes. My mom and I, when we went, so this last trip I ate at Citizen 3 times.
Good for you.
And it was all so great. Like you and I ate there, and then Chris and I ate there with Rachel and Chris, and then my mom wanted to go, so I was like, "Listen, we are going to go back.
No fights for me."
I will not rob you of this event." Like, and she's been before and loved it as well. But we were reading up on the oysters that they get oysters from like a few different areas, but one consistent place that they get them from is called Murder Point Oysters in Alabama, and we read all about them and like how they're able to like keep them so small. They're farm raised, but like out in the Gulf, and they can like monitor everything about like the oyster, which is very interesting because I've actually, when I was in Rhode Island a few years ago, I was there with Red Dress, and one of the like excursions that we did was like went and like harvested oysters. Like we went on a boat and like the guide took us and taught us all about like the oysters. So I've been on an oyster farm. And so I thought that was good because the Murder Point oysters are so good. They're like a little bit more petite, but it's like the perfect bite. It's not too big. So sometimes like,
I feel like that's what gets people sometimes with oysters. Yeah.
It's like too much. But that's not the case with these oysters. They're so good. And then their other appetizers, the warm cheddar biscuits, the whipped feta, their Caesar salad is really good. Their cocktails are really good. They also have some like non-alcoholic cocktails that are unbelievable. They are made, there's like a liquor brand called Zero Proof, and they make a few different type of like non-alcoholic liquors that kind of give a similar taste, but without the like alcohol in them. And Chris has had those a few times and was always like, this is a really great like alternative. And like, I think of like mocktails, like if you're pregnant and you want to enjoy a mocktail, like that's something that they offer like on their menu, which is really great. But just the whole environment, the vibe, they've got great outdoor seating. They've got an oyster bar you can sit at. They've got an actual bar that's really nice. So you can do first come, first serve. So if you have a really long wait, you could just check out to see if there's any, like the bar is like full service bar, like food wise too. So we've sat at the bar before. It's just, we love it.
It's an experience. You have to try it if you are in the area.
Yes, just plan for, maybe a little bit of a wait, but know that it will be so, so worth it.
There's a couple of, okay, so Raw and Juicy is a really great breakfast place that I know that we've gone, but for our team retreat, we did donuts. What's the name of that? It's like a cart?
Yeah, the Charlie's Donut Truck.
Yes, they were so good.
Yes, their donuts are delicious. Another good donut spot that's like you would have to, well, you could probably walk across actually. You could also easily drive. It's like right at the entrance of 30A, but it's called Donut Hole.
Oh, yeah, huge.
And yeah, it's like a huge restaurant, breakfast. They do like donuts and then like all other like breakfast offerings. So I will say, like, I know I'm really only covering, like I mentioned, like Alys, Seacrest, and Rosemary areas because we literally like don't really drive anywhere else. But I know a little bit further down is like Seaside, and in between, Seaside's probably like 20 minutes down. And there are several other like really great like spots in between that also have other awesome restaurants, coffee shops, donut places. I'm just not as familiar with what they are, but I've also heard of, like, I have a friend, Rachel, she's actually an influencer as well. Her blog is called Pinteresting Plans, and Rachel and I met each other like our first year of blogging back in like 2016. She used to live in Connecticut, and then like within the last few years, her and her family moved down to 30A, and so she shares a ton of other like 30A and kind of like the surrounding area. So she would be a great person to follow if you're looking for like more of like a local who's there and can attest to a larger like area.
One thing that I think a lot of people get confused about, because I did too at first until I went down there, 30A they think is like a place. Whereas, like, it is a highway.
Yeah, it's like County Road 30A. Like, it is.
It just, you travel down 30A and it goes, miles and miles and miles. So there's so much to 30A. Rosemary is right at the entrance of 30A. This is, like, right after Panama City, right? So you pass Panama City, you enter 30A, and then go into Rosemary, Seacrest, Alys, Watersound, all of that.
Yep.
But there are so many other cities beyond that.
And it's so, like, think of it like 30A is, like, the major street that is, like, closest to the beach. And then there's, like, the actual highway that runs parallel, but it's, like, a 4 or 6 lane highway that's, like, larger. Whereas 30A is going to be your, like, 2 lane you're closest to the beach when you're on 30A. So... yeah, a lot of people are always like, what is this 30A place? I'm like, well, it's a highway, but there's lots of beach towns like off this general area. But there's so much in the area. Like
there is. There's so many cute shops. The little boutiques that they have down in Rosemary specifically. I know that's the ones that I've personally frequented, but there is a really cute Rosemary like gift shop.
It's called the Rosemary Trading Company.
So cute.
They have like where you can get like the great like Rosemary Beach t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats, and then they've got like great little gifts. Like we always go down there for the week of Thanksgiving, and so I usually get gifts for people at this Rosemary shop because they have like just great like little notebooks and note cards and coffee mugs, or just even like more just like cute
great
stuff
quality
that you want to gift somebody.
Yes.
A few other shops I really like there. One is Luminary. They have amazing accessories. I just recently got a pair of earrings from there and I love them. They also have really great shoes. And my mom loves shopping there too, so it's kind of they offer like a wide range of options. And then next door to that is a store called Disco, which is super cute. You got your daughter a pair of earrings there.
Yeah, I got her some earrings. They had, I would say, teen to maybe mid-late 20s clothing. So cute.
Some of their stuff I feel like is a little, like, I would say, like, teen to, like, 40.
You could find, I could find some pieces in there for sure.
But it was definitely, like, and it's like your fun like beachy outfits or like things that you like buy on vacation and then like want to wear out that night, and then that's like your thing, like, oh, I bought this top at the beach and I loved it, you know. So that's another great one. Across the street, Willow is really cute. They've got some like great options. They actually have a few locations as well. I mean, there's like probably like 7 or 8 just like super cute, good clothing stores. They've got a few kids stores around that's got like bathing suits, like unique brands, like just good quality like kids clothes and stuff.
There is a boutique, and I can't remember if it's all pets, but it had a lot of pet stuff. You know, I saw that.
The dog. It's like a dog, like
cute,
boutique.
Like bandanas, you know, collars, leashes, like all the accessories, but they're very, very beach themed.
I know.
So they're so cute.
Every time we're there, I'm like, should we get Birdie like a treat or like a special present? Should we bring her home something?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, just the area is so great. Another restaurant that I kind of thought about as I'm like mentally visualizing like the layout of the downtown, but there's a restaurant there called Pescado.
Oh, yes.
And it is a rooftop restaurant, and the views of sunset are incredible. They take reservations for their dining room, but the outdoor patio and bar area are first come first serve, but you can get on a waiting list for those locations, but usually like the dining room, like you have to have a reservation to eat there. But it's another really great, like, I would say it's like, I really liked Citizen, but this would be like another like similar really good restaurant. The drinks are really good. So that's a fun one, and it's located like right there, kind of at the top of like the downtown area.
So cute. There's so many great things down there, and I think your information that you give is super helpful. I feel like so much that's still just developing down there because it's growing so fast. I hope this helps everybody that's going. Hopefully not too many of you guys. But,
like I said, I'll leave Rachel's information so you guys can check her out. She's actually has her real estate license and like is super knowledgeable on like real estate in the area. So if anybody is looking to potentially buy or want to learn more about the area, Rachel would be an awesome person to reach out to. So we'll include her information in the show notes. But yeah, I absolutely love 30A. Chris is always like, we should go, like, do you really want to go back there? And I'm like, yes, I really want to go back there every single time we go on vacation. We just love it. So hopefully this is helpful. If you guys go in the future, please let us know. We'd love to see your beach pictures. And if we're ever down there at the same time, I always meet people when we're down there who are like Leverly Gray followers, and it's always so much fun just for people to be like, we found this place because of you. So please
say hi.
See me, come and say hi.
Yes.
I love meeting everybody. So I hope this episode has been so helpful for you guys. I can't wait to see all your photos when you go down to 30A in the future. And we will talk soon. Until next time. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of Life with Beverly. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video. Until next time.